Von J Media.
Welcome back to Ignyte Your podcast, where real talk meets real purpose. I'm your host, Austin T. Gullett, and every week we break down powerful topics that help you tap into your story, challenge your thinking, and help you ignite your why. I'm super excited for this conversation today. It's kind of a deep one because it's something I have personally struggled with for a very long time. But before we get into this, let me ask you something. Have you ever said, I'm burnt out, but when you really think about it, you're not done? You're just tired of carrying everything. Think about that. Let that sit in. Have you ever felt that you were burnt out, but when you really think about it, you're just tired of carrying everything? That realization changed everything for me, right? Because it's so easy for us to be like, I'm burnt out. This is exhausting. I just don't have the energy for it. But when you take the time to take a step back, you realize you're not burnt out. You're just carrying a lot of shit on your back, and it's a lot to handle. For me, my busy season for work is the fall and the winter. You have games all the time. You have multiple responsibilities because you want to show up for your kids, show up for your family, and just show up for other people, that you often just get exhausted to a point where you're just like, damn. And you feel burnt out. But in reality, you just need to take some of that weight off your back and keep it pushing, right? I mentioned this in the last episode. When you're constantly doing things and showing up for other people, you just feel like, I'm trying to find the word, like you feel like sometimes you're just not enough, right? You're just not enough for that person. Things are just, or those people, or you're just not enough for yourself. And it just gets to a point where you're just like, okay, I need to really just take a step back, because you're always feeling drained. And the thing about through all of this is, like, even though you're feeling drained and emotionally overwhelmed, you still care so deeply about the things that you're doing and the people you're showing up for. So today, I want to talk to you about the difference between burnout and being overwhelmed. Let me repeat that. Today, I want to talk to you about the difference of being burnt out and being overwhelmed, because there is a difference. Because they are not the same, y'all. They are not the same. All right. For me, when I was thinking of a topic to talk about, I'm just like, I always tell people I'm feeling burnt out because you're constantly going, you're constantly doing things, you're doing this, that, and the third. But when I took a step back to like visualize me and what I'm doing, I was like, maybe I'm just overwhelmed with all the shit that I got going on, and I just need to chillax. I need to just take a breather. It's okay to take breathers sometimes. And I think we don't allow ourselves to take those breaks because we feel like if we take the break, we're doing other people a disservice. But you're really giving yourself time to heal, time to rejuvenate, and you're filling up that cup so you can give more to those people. You can't continue to push and give if you're not giving to yourself. I said that last episode. I feel like it's going to be a topic for this season, because this is all about pouring into yourself, taking care of yourself, and putting you first, because that's really what matters, y'all. And when you think of burnout, right? Burnout makes you want to quit. Or being overwhelmed, you just want some relief, right? Burnout, I'm going to say it again. Burnout makes you want to quit. You want to quit. You want to be done. I can't do this anymore. Where being overwhelmed, you just want relief. You just want to be able to take some of that weight off and just relax, right? When you think of it like this, for simple terms, right? Burnout, when you think of burnout, you think of emotional detachment, resentment, and just, I fuck this, I'm done. Like type shit. Type shit. I can't believe I said that. I say that a lot now. I feel like I've been hanging out with kids too much because I've always been like type shit. But you know, it is what it is. I guess that's what happens when you work with the younger generation and you're still kind of young yourself. We ain't gonna talk about what age I'm turning this year. We don't talk about it, but it's so if you're watching, I just did some hand movements. If you're not, you can guess. Where so being burnt out, you're just like, ugh. That's the best way to put it. Like you're just like, I'm done. Fuck this shit. I'm out. Peace. Or when you're being overwhelmed with things, you're just overloaded, you're overstimulated, and you just get stretched very, very thin, right? So you have to take that step back and realize and really think like, are you truly burnt out or are you just overwhelmed with all the shit that you're doing? Because you can be burnt out or you could be overwhelmed, but that's for you to figure out. That's for you to take a step back and think, is this situation that I'm in right now overwhelming because it's just I'm doing too much? Or I fucking hate this shit and I need to stop, right? There's two different ways to go about this. And only you can decide whether it's burnout or being overwhelmed because it's your life. No one can tell you if you're burnt out over something. No one can tell you if you're overwhelmed. You have to dig deep and really self-reflect to think like, what is this? Because there is a difference. But I think it's very easy for us when we're going through tough times like this to automatically assume that we're burnt out because that's the easy thing to do. That's the easy way out. But we're not taking easy routes anymore. We're doing the hard work and we're going to figure this shit out and really understand why we are, who we are, why we're the way we are, why we think the way we think, and just really hone in on self-care. That's what 2026 is about. Self-care, owning who you are, and living your truth every single day. So, when you think of being overwhelmed and being burnt out, a lot of our responsibilities pile up so quickly that we don't realize we're taking on too much. And I was sitting here talking about this and I'm like, damn, my back is already starting to hurt because I've been carrying all this weight. I'm kidding. No, I do a lot. And it's easy for me to forget things and because you have this going on, that going on. And sometimes it's okay to say no, y'all. It's okay to say no. Or not even say no. Just say not right now. Right? Understand that if you say not right now, that doesn't mean you're never going to do something or you can't do something. It just means I don't have the capacity to do this right now. Because if you're continuously taking on new things and piling up those responsibilities, they're not getting your best work. They're going to get some half-ass work that you're not going to be proud of because you just have so much going on that you just can't focus on it. And I think when I look back at my journey and I think about this podcast, I think I got to that point where I was just so overwhelmed with everything that I was doing. I didn't have the mental capacity to sit down and be like, nah, like, we're going to do this podcast and we're going to talk. I just didn't have the energy because I knew if I was going to sit down and do it, I didn't have the energy. And like, you weren't going to get the full me. You were going to get some half-ass person. There would probably been no passion behind it. Probably would have just been very boring, very bland, unauthentic. And that's just not who I am. I don't want to put content out like that. So that's why the podcast had been gone for some time. So it's like, when you think of just everything that I do on a daily basis with my job and with work, no one has handed me more responsibility. Does that make sense? No one's handed me more responsibility. I just never put anything down. I just keep adding more to my pile because I'm a yes man. Let's make it. Let's just be real. I say yes to hella shit. Like, can you do this? Sure. Because I'm a nice person. And I feel like sometimes people take advantage of that. And it's a never ending battle because you get in your head sometimes because you want to be that person that people can rely on, people can count on. So you say, yes, I'll help you. I can do this. I can do that. And then when you look back, you're like, damn, I'm doing way too much, doing way too much. But then you don't want to be like the person that goes back on your word. So like you try to stick it out and this, that, and the third. Because you got to think there's so many aspects of your life. You have your job, your hobbies, your family, your friends, your pets, wherever Gabby is. She right here licking herself, doing too much. But on top of that, it's you also just put expectations on yourself for yourself to show up for other people and do above and beyond. But the real question for you is like, are you showing up for yourself? Right? So when you're thinking of all these things and all the things that you're doing and how you can become overwhelmed, because I feel like a lot of the times we become overwhelmed, and the more we become overwhelmed, that's when it starts to turn into becoming a burnout, because burnout is caused by being overwhelmed, because it can get to a point where it's just too much, where you're just like, I'm done. I can't do this no more. But let's be real. Let's take off this strong coat we always wear and understand that we don't always have to push through to be strong, right? Pushing through isn't always showing strength. Sometimes it's a weakness, because for me, pushing through is also an avoidance. Pushing through is a way for me to avoid the shit that's going on in my life that I need to address and really hone in on to become a better version of myself. Me staying busy is a coping mechanism, a bad negative coping mechanism to life, right? You push through because you are afraid to like be vulnerable, in a sense. For me, at least, I push through because sometimes I'm afraid to be vulnerable. I'm afraid that I'm going to be a bother to other people. I'm afraid that I'm going to be a burden, and I just have to be strong because no one cares. And it's these little habits, these little holes you go down, and it's just like, it gets so fucked up in your head. You're just like, I just don't know what to do. And then eventually being strong and pushing through becomes your default, and you kind of just go into autopilot, and that's just all you know. It's all you know. Let's push through. And I'm going to tell you this. Just because I can carry it doesn't mean I should. Think about that. Just because you can carry it doesn't mean you should. That was powerful. I like that. Just because you can carry it doesn't mean you should. Don't take on more responsibilities that you don't need, because you're going to get to a point where you're going to burn out and you're going to be overwhelmed. Do what you can. Rest when you need to. It is okay. Taking a rest is not quitting. It's just a pause. I didn't quit on this podcast. I just took a break. I needed a rest. And it's okay to rest. Give yourself permission to take a rest, because you probably go 7 days a week, burning through things, taking on different things. But when's the last time you sat down and did something for yourself? Yeah. When's the last time you sat down and did something for yourself? And don't say, oh, like I sat on the couch and did laundry. Who wants to do laundry? When's the last time you did something for you? Go get a massage, go to therapy, go hang out with friends, have no responsibilities, right? Slow down. Life is too short to be caught up in the madness all the time. Like, just push the brake. It's okay. Asking for help is not a weakness, y'all. Sometimes it's the best thing we can do, and it shows a lot of strength to ask for help. I know it's scary and it's hard to admit when we're not okay, but it's okay to not be okay. Like, that shows so much strength. And I don't feel like we'll ever be at a time where everything's perfect, because nothing in life is perfect. Life be lifing, y'all. Be hard. Be hard out here in the streets. I'm kidding. It just be challenging. It's so challenging because there's always going to be those ups and those downs, and it's a roller coaster. I felt like when I was in high school, I would always say life's a roller coaster. So buckle up and enjoy the ride because it's going to be bumpy. And if you're from Cincinnati and you've been to Kings Island, those roller coasters are bumpy as hell, but they're fun, and you get the excitement, and you get the butterflies in your stomach, and that's just life. You're going to have those moments and you got to take those risks. Like, I'm scared of heights, but I still get on drop tower, drop zone. Like, you just got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? So it's okay to not be okay. Take breaks, ask for help, do what you got to do to take care of yourself. Because we're not going to be burnt out in 2026. We're not going to be overwhelmed all the time in 2026. This is our year, y'all, to take care of ourselves, put ourselves first, and do what we need to do. But like, it's easier said than done. Obviously, you're probably thinking, Austin, I hear you, but you just talking. You talking. Sometimes I just be talking to talk, y'all. But I hope that you're just like really taking deep thought and thinking about this, because it's therapeutic for me to have these conversations, because it puts a lot of perspective into my own life where I'm just like, damn, I ain't thinking that. I should take my own advice, which maybe I will. Maybe I won't. Who knows? We'll find out. But I'm telling you, like, the goal, being overwhelmed and being burnt out, like, the goal isn't to drop everything and do nothing at all, right? The goal is to stop carrying everything alone. When you're constantly going through life alone and doing things by yourself, that's when shit gets hard. Like, you don't have to drop everything and do nothing. But what I'm telling you is, like, whatever you're doing right now, whatever you're going through right now, you don't have to carry all of this by yourself. You are not alone. You have a village behind you, whether you see it or not. You have people who support you. I support you. Even if I don't know you, you can always hit up my DMs, slide in it. I will be there for you 100%, because I know what it feels like to be lonely and feel like you have absolutely no one to talk to. But then there's so many people around you who care. That's the thing. And sometimes we just get so deep into our thoughts that we're just like, ugh, I don't want to bother this person. I don't want to do this. So what's helped me with being overwhelmed and doing all this is I just started taking an inventory of everything that I'm carrying, everything that I'm doing when it comes to work, when it comes to house chores, when it comes to grocery shopping bills, like just life in general. Just write down everything that you're carrying and pick out what's important. What do I need to do? What do I want to do? And what can I do at a later time? Right? You just got to be able to figure out what it is that's draining you and what is it that fuels you. Because there's a lot of things that can pile up to drain you. And when you continue to do those things, you forget those things that fuel you and fill up that cup. Because you got to continuously pour into your cup in order to give people what they need and what they deserve. And that's what this podcast does for me. This podcast fuels me. It makes me feel happy. It makes me truly think about my own life, my own issues, my own problems, and just be very transparent with people, because this is therapeutic for me, because I'm having when you think about it, I'm literally having a conversation with myself. No one's responding to me. I'm just talking about how I feel, my emotions, what I've been through. And for me, that's therapeutic. Being able to just let it out sometimes is all you need. It's all you need. I used to write when I was a kid because that was an easy thing to do. And it was just a nice way to put your thoughts into feelings. But when you get older, things get a little bit crazier. Time gets more demanding. And sometimes you just lose sight on those things that make you happy. And that's when you got to take that step back and truly figure out what it is that is important to you, right? So, burnout and overwhelmed. I hope with this conversation, you have a little bit more clarity on the true difference of being overwhelmed and being burnt out. Don't continue to allow yourself to be so overwhelmed that you reach the point of burnout. Like I said, scale back, take off some time, do what you need to do, Because at the end of the day, the only person that got you, like anyone else, is yourself. You have to be able to take care of yourself. You have to be able to be there for yourself and truly be your biggest cheerleader. It's hard at times because we're often our biggest critics, but we need to be our biggest cheerleaders because we're done being overwhelmed and we're done being burnt out in 2026. That's my challenge for you, right? So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I'm not burnt out, I'm just overwhelmed, I hope this episode gives you permission to breathe. Like, just take a breath, take a step back, and breathe. Let's do it. Take one deep breath in. Did you do it? Did you take the breath? If not, stop. Do it again. Breathe in for 3 seconds and breathe out. Just by taking a break and resetting, it can change a lot for you, right? This is your permission to breathe. Scale back on some things. This doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. You are human, and sometimes the strongest thing that you can do is put something down. You don't have to carry it all. You don't have to climb that mountain alone. You can take it one step at a time, because that's life. You're gonna have those moments, but it's okay to take that step back, breathe, put something down, and rest. Because taking a rest isn't quitting; it's just taking a small break and allowing yourself the permission to breathe. So if this episode helped you and you know someone who's been carrying way too much, send this to them. Send this to them, and remember, you don't have to do everything for everyone else. Like, this is a reminder that you're not alone and you can do anything you set your mind to because you're capable, you're worthy, and I love you. So if this is something that relates to you, shoot me a DM. Share it with someone who also needs permission to just rest, because that's what we're doing. We're taking care of ourselves in 2026, and we're going to flourish in 2026. So I really hope this message hits home and resonates. So hopefully you can tell the difference between overwhelmed and burnout. If you can't, I apologize. I'm no expert. I just speak from my heart, and hopefully it helps you out. But if you're watching this right now, please give us a follow, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn that post notification bell on so you never miss an episode. And if you're listening to this right now, hop over to our Instagram or our Facebook or our Twitter or Instagram, whatever it is. All our social media platforms are at Ignyte Your Y. That's IGNYTE. I had to think about that. Yeah, because I used to spell it wrong, y'all. I used to do this outro and spell Ignite wrong all the time. So it's IGNYTE, not with an I, is with a Y, because we're here to set fire to our purpose and ignite our why every single time. So thank you all for tuning in. I love you guys so much. Don't forget to follow us. And if you love this episode, hit me a DM with the word reset and we can have a true conversation. Until next time, I hope you guys find your purpose, ignite your why, and I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.